2022 promises to be a big year across every aspect of combat sports. From the MMA world to boxing and everything in between, we're sure to be treated to a spectacle of super fights before the year is out. And there will inevitably be more than a few shocks for us to get our teeth into. Stay with us, as today we're talking about some of combat sports' most anticipated fights for 2022. First up is this weekend's UFC heavyweight title bout. Stay tuned. This Saturday, January 22nd, sees the big boys do battle at the top of the UFC's heavyweight division. Cyril Gane will challenge current baddest man on the planet, Francis Ngannou, for the African's heavyweight title, and in a fight that MMA fans the world over have been looking forward to for months. Ngannou goes in as the heavyweight favorite, but this is MMA, and shocks happen all the time. Only this past weekend, Calvin Kattar pointed out the much-fancied Giga Chikadze, so to say Francis will just walk through Gane might be a little premature. The Frenchman boasts an unbeaten record, but he is largely inexperienced when it comes to Ngannou, who has fought almost twice as many bouts as Gane. However, Cyril boasts an unbeaten professional record and is currently 10-0, while Francis has shown he is definitely beatable. If Gane can take the big Cameroonian into the latter rounds, this might signal his best chance at stealing Ngannou's belt for himself. How do you see this one playing out? Next up, we're looking at boxing's lightweight division. There's a saying in boxing that if the heavyweight division is performing, then boxing in general is doing well, and boy is there no more evident than in the sport's current lightweight division. The rankings house a who's who of legitimate killers. The division is home to 5 Americans. Previous king Teofimo Lopez is ranked at 1, just behind the man who dethroned him, George Kambosos Jr. The ever-dangerous Vasily Lomachenko is right behind Lopez, who beat the Ukrainian to take his belt before falling to the Aussie Kambosos. Also in the running is one of the best divisions in boxing in recent memory are Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and Ryan Garcia. And the fact that we're mentioning fighters like Richard Comment and Jorge Linares are so far down the list in this division shows you how stacked it really is. Although none of these guys' next fights have been announced yet, most of the top guys in the division are on the same schedule, and it is only a matter of time before a sensational fight is announced at the top of boxing's most exciting division. Who do you see challenging Kambosos Jr. next? And do you see the Aussie ending the year with all his belts still intact? Let us know below. Back to UFC now. We're looking at a potential middleweight title eliminator. Blonde Derek Brunson steps out again for the second time in 4 months at UFC 270 after his destruction of a man quickly turning into the gatekeeper of the middleweight division, Darren Till, back at UFC Vegas 36 in September. Brunson, who currently occupies number 4 in the UFC's middleweight rankings, takes on the guy who is just ahead of him in the 3rd spot, Jared Cannonier. Brunson is currently in the form of his life and has won his past 5 fights since losing to current champ Israel Adesanya, which there is absolutely no shame in. Whoever wins this one would surely get the next crack at whoever wins the rematch between Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. The pair face off on February 12th, and we will know more about the upper echelons of the division after 4 of the top 5 fighters face each other in the space of the next few weeks. Who do you see coming out on top in the Brunson versus Cannonier bout? Let us know below. And that brings us nicely onto the Adesanya versus Whittaker fight. As we mentioned just a few seconds ago, February 12th sees one of the most anticipated middleweight rematches in some time, as Robert Whittaker gets the chance to redeem himself and take back his belt against current champ Israel Adesanya. Both men are truly world-class fighters, and since losing his belt to Adesanya, which was the only loss in his past 13 fights, Whittaker has racked up 3 wins against some of the division's best fighters, Gastelum, Cannonier, and Till. But there is an argument to say Adesanya is a cut above Whittaker. The Nigerian Kiwi has only been defeated a solitary time in his UFC career, and that was when he stepped up a division to take on a light heavyweight, Jan Blachowicz, for the vacant light heavyweight title. On that occasion, size mattered, and the pole simply overpowered Izzy. Whittaker certainly has the skill set to provide what would be to many an upset, but to him it would be a case of taking back what is his. We can't wait for this one and see this as the most anticipated UFC middleweight fight since the the last time these two met. We're heading off to ONE FC next. Stay tuned. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, former king of the UFC flyweight division, takes on Muay Thai expert and current ONE flyweight Muay Thai champion Rodtang Jitmuangnon on March 6th. But this one is a little different than just your average world championship fight. The pair will do battle in a special rules match, which will headline the ONE X event. The first and third rounds will be contested under Muay Thai rules, so only kicking, kneeling, punching, and elbowing will be allowed, whilst the second and fourth rounds will see the fighters revert to MMA rules. It is the first time something like this has been attempted at this level, and interest is high in this one, to see if it's something that can be used in other promotions, to lure crossover fighters from other sports. It could see the likes of Jiu-Jitsu all-time great Gordon Ryan step into the octagon. Muay Thai fighters traditionally fight multiple times per year, so Rodtang's record is deep, to say the least. Johnson lost via TKO in his last fight after steamrolling everyone in his path, bar Henry Cejudo, for the last 10 years or so. How do you see this one playing out? Back to the UFC's flyweight division next. The division in which Mighty Mouse dominated for so long could see a new champion this weekend, as Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo do battle for a third time in as many fights for both men. The pair were involved in a spectacular draw the first time out, with Moreno submitting Figueiredo via rear naked choke in their second fight to take the Brazilian's flyweight title. Saturday will surely be the last time the men do battle for a while, as there are other guys in the division who are waiting for title shots. But should Figueiredo win, there will be calls for a fourth fight from Moreno's camp. Both men possess extremely dangerous ground games, so we can probably expect to see some high-level jiu-jitsu in this one. Do you think Figueiredo has what it takes to take back his belt, or will Moreno hold on to what is now his? Let us know your predictions for this one below. A highly anticipated fight from the welterweight division next. UFC 272 will see headliners Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal go to war. Covington is coming off 2 defeats in his last 3 fights, both to champion Kamaru Usman, whilst Masvidal himself has been beaten twice by the champ in his last 2, being absolutely flatlined in his last outing. There is no love lost between these two fighters, with Masvidal in particular having some strong words about his opponent. This should serve for a great fight between the pair, who can both brawl. Masvidal himself started as a backyard street fighter, whilst Covington is no stranger to wars, taking the champ all the way in his last fight, whilst only being stopped in the 5th in their first meeting. We can't wait for this one. Who do you see coming out on top? Let us know your thoughts for how this one plays out below. And finally, we have a prediction of our own about a fight we think will go down. Conor McGregor is set to return to the octagon sometime this year, with the Irishman himself targeting late spring or early summer for a potential comeback. Back in 2016, McGregor went to war twice with Stockton bad boy Nate Diaz, with the pair sharing a victory each. And we think this year could see their trilogy finally booked to settle their beef once and for all. Diaz submitted the Irish fighter via rear naked choke in their first fight, with McGregor scoring a points win in the second. We all know how much of a draw these two are, and surely the money fight is this one. Uncle Dana will surely want a big headline fight for July, and we think this should be the one to book. What do you guys think? Let us know below. As always, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to stop by next time for some more revelations. Also, why not do us a favor and share today's video with any fight fans you know of? Adios, amigos.